Hello everyone, this is Daz, and this week's discussion is over how over time society has shifted, and everyone talks about postmodernity, and that definitely has been the case for much of the time period that many of us have lived in. But I would argue that we've moved out of postmodernism and into a different era. Now, as far as naming it, some would say it's fueled by globalization, neo-medievalism, or whatever you would call it, where everything is connected on a global scale, on a worldwide scale. However, I would say, for layman's terms, we've moved into an age of my truth, an age where everyone's reality is relative to them. So in the postmodern age, we often saw a lot of critiques of structures, of institutions and ideologies in place. However, now, a lot of these talking points, these debates within academia, they're still happening, but they're coming to an end, and now there's more talk of a change in policy or action, talks of reform. It's not enough just to talk about deconstructing the social constructs of post-structuralism, but even just making large shifts. But with the idea of large shifts comes aversion. Not everyone's on board. You have many different ideas. I'm talking from an American perspective here, since I live in the United States. This is a large country. If you've ever traveled it, you'll see that the West Coast culture is different than the Midwestern, or the Northeastern culture is different than the Southeastern culture. And even within these regions, there's, subcultures. When people talk about diversity or about assimilation or anything like that, a lot of times the conversation's centered around race, ethnicity, nationality, gender, religion, sexual orientation, but it's much bigger than that. And even within these groupings, there's still subgroups. A lot of people are loyal to their truth. They're loyal to what they believe to be their reality. In an age where we no longer trust what the media tells us, people are turning to alternative sources. But some of these alternative sources have proven to be just as deceptive in some cases, not all, where people no longer have faith in medicine or in education or in entertainment, where people can make their own movies and videos from their households. There really is no need for the system we think of in place in some's eyes. And when this begins to happen, this view, this could shift into more of an anarchist perspective, because there's always going to be those who are going to want to do everything they can to maintain the system, hence the Hegelian dialectic of opposing ideals creating synthesis with the thesis and antithesis. There are those who are saying, look, I'm tired of waiting for laws to change. I'm tired of doing this the way it's been done. And we see this sort of spirit and energy with the elections that are coming up. And I'm going to be honest with you. Again, I've said this many times on this channel. I don't take sides. I'm not a Democrat or a Republican, a conservative or a liberal. However, I don't have a very good feeling about these elections and what's to come after it. I am concerned about a surge of violence and just a lot of unrest in general, regardless of who wins. But this era we're in of my truth, you're having people basically break into little cliques, clans, groups, cults, whatever you want to call them, with groupthink. We are all marijuana users. We are all, identifying as this orientation, or we are all identifying with this religion. And as people break into these little groups, they will do what they can. They will do what they can to fight and defend their truth. And you'll have those out there who will want to dismantle everything by any means necessary, including violence. And this is a time where I do feel, and I'm not saying I'm making a prediction like it's going to happen tomorrow, it's going to happen after the elections, or it's even going to happen in 2021. But this is what I see, because things are never going to go back to the way they were. And, the world is meant to change. But whatever happens in the future, and I know I'm speaking from a perspective of leaning on Christ here, I know what I believe and I know what I hold to. And I'm not going to focus on man. And the battle isn't against flesh and blood, but just don't get caught up in this tribalism and this groupthink and this my truth, my reality, because a lot of people are caught in that, and it's going to resort in a lot of violence and a lot of unrest. Also, do what you can to pray for, inform, protect those in your life, your loved ones. because these are rocky and tumultuous times. As Christ warned in Matthew 24, the love of many would wax cold. And I'm not here trying to be a doomsday prophet or a, woe is the world thing, but at the same time, this is the time we're in. And I just felt it on my spirit and in my gut to share this because I don't know when, but we are headed towards this new time frame. And the fact that, again, not to get all mystical, we've had a lot of planets like Mercury and Mars retrograding at the same time. 2020 has been a year of just massive changes with this pandemic and other issues that have happened. Even if you think about us being in a simulation of some sort. 2020 divided by 5 is 404, which is an error code. It just blows your mind. Some of you have brought to my attention how some said the Mayan calendar was 8 years off, and so rather than 2012, it's 2020. And I noticed a lot of the depictions of things they showed in 2012 films or literature to try to hype up that year have proven to be true for 2020. It's also followed the pattern of every 100 years, there's been some sort of massive plague or pandemic. So this is no mistake. Again, I'm talking from a spiritual perspective, so I believe this all has to do with prophecy in the word. But even for those of you who don't believe, how many coincidences does it take? There's something up with this. And that is as much as I'm going to say. I'd like to know what your thoughts are on the idea that we're out of the postmodern age and into a more anarchist, I call it my truth, or the age of clans and cults and tribalism. Thank you for listening. Take care and God bless.